So for my desire, the object can be infinity. For a small cat, what is a desire? Ahara nidra bhayamayutunam cha. There ends the matter. Only for any animal, for that sake, very great animal, still that. But I have a desire whose object can be infinity. I have a desire whose object can be perfect growth. I have a desire whose object can be culture, whose object can be sensitization, whose object can be understanding, appreciation of everything, anything. That means my Ichha Shakti is highly powerful. That means the desire is highly powerful in me. And fortunate I am that Veda and all the Puranas, etc., all our culture says Ichha Shakti is Jagat Janani. Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Gnana Shakti. So that means the desire in me, the power to desire in me is the blessing of the Lord. Power to desire in me is a blessing of the Lord. Why? Why? Because Mother Goddess, Jagat Janani, Mahadevi, when she is called Ichha Shakti, and fortunately I have that Ichha Shakti. What does it mean? I have that blessing. So I can take it to be a blessing. And this is responsible for this much culture. This is responsible for every sort of comfort. This is responsible for growth. This is responsible for all divine qualities. Ultimately, this is responsible for moksha. Kami kani vadu, moksha kami kadu ante a pichi vedavalu kamaniki vere ardham pettukunnaru. Adi kadu, power to desire ani. Adi ededo vaadu, the people don't know, in Telugu we have one who is not a kami. Kami means a desirer, can never become a desirer of moksha. Moksha kami. So they attribute all sorts of idiotic things with that. That is not the meaning. Power to desire. You should have the desire. If a fellow says, I have no desire like this, he cannot become a mumukshu. That's what it is meant. Not that you can go to Las Vegas regularly. Then he will become one day mumukshu. Not like that. Understand? So that Kama Shakti in me is a blessing. When I see, everything is because of that. Today I am able to speak some Vedanta to you. That is because of my desire. You are able to listen and apply it. It is because of your desire. Understand? We did not put any biscuit here. No one comes like that. It is because to know and understand you have come. That means it is your desire. So when desire can do all this work, it is a blessing. It is a blessing. And Shastra is also saying Mother Goddess is desire. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Ichha Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha. Very nice it is. But again, I have a problem here. Because the same Shastra which some places says desiring ability in you is a great blessing, in many other places says and condemns it, criticizes it as the first fellow of the 6 internal enemies. 6 internal enemies evaru? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, Vatsaryam. Who is the first fellow? Kama fellow. If Kama, Ichha Shakti, the Kama is a blessing, then what is this now you are saying it is a curse? He is a Ari, enemy to plunder your Gnanam inside. And because of this fellow you cannot progress. In Gita it comes Kamayesha, Krodhayesha, Rajoguna Samudbhavaha, Mahasano Mahapapma, Vidhyena Miha Vairinam, Iha Vairinam Vidhi. Arjuna, know this fellow to be the enemy. Know this fellow to be the enemy. Who? Kamayesha. Kamayesha, this very desire, this very desiring capability. Ayo Rama, what is this now? I am on crossroads now. Because the word I know, and it says it's a blessing, it was good. Now suddenly, I have not yet realized the blessing. I have not yet claimed it to people that I have a blessing. It says, if you have this, you will suffer. Mahashanaha, glutton this fellow is, wants everything every time. And Mahapapma, Mahabhayankara, Papi this fellow is. Understand? So both are there now, how to do? So here, without our unnecessary intervention, And without putting our buddhi there, we have to take refuge to Shastra. Now we have to think whether it's a blessing or curse. Shall I use it or not? Because if it is not a blessing, like what Gita says, it is an enemy, then I have to abandon that fellow, which is not possible. As long as I am in the home, it is only possible I can abandon the desire maybe on the funeral pyre. That also no guarantee, because on funeral pyre only physical body is kept. Your subtle body is still existing. Mano, buddhi, ahankara, etc. all are there. So I cannot get rid. And every lecture we hear this. Desire is the root of problem. No desires, no problem. But no progress also. And you cannot afford to be without desire. Try to be for 1 minute. Swamiji, I don't want any desire. That is a desire. You understand? That is a desire. So I cannot erase it totally from my bosom. And also my Shastra, the Veda, can never tell me something which is impractical. Will never advocate something impractical, I tell you. You can verify this. In the name of spiritual sadhana, nowhere in Bhagavad Gita, nowhere in the Vedanta Shastra, you will come across impractical teaching. It may be that you may not have the accessibility to it, that's all, but it's not impractical. If you can apply it, at least for the sake of inquiry, if you sit down, that looks very practical. Not looks, it is. When it talks of some upasana on Akasha, people think, will Akasha answer us or what? No, Akasha will not answer. But your mind expands. Your heart expands. Why? Akashamapi Ishvara eva. That Akasha is Bhagavan. So though Akasha will not come and speak to you, but you are receiving certain thing. The message of Akasha, your heart should be like that. And God is all pervasive. You are always with Him. And you will enjoy His blessing. You will see His blessing in the form of Akasha, Prithvi, Vayu. So nothing is impractical. So if that is the case, it looks impractical to me, number one. And Veda will not advocate impractical things. Vedanta Shastra, Gita won't advocate nor influence me with impractical things. And I cannot leave this away. But now I want to know. And also in Veda Purva, full of desires. In Veda Purva, do you have this desire? Yes. Do this yaga. You want some rain in your crop, on your field? Yes, I want. Do this chanting. You will get Varuna Anugraham, then rain will come. I want some children. Putra Kameshti. After children, little more money. Avahanti. There is a Homa, specially mentioned Avahanti Homa, by doing which you will get money. Don't ask me how to do that, okay? I am not for that. I am teaching something else. So there are so many things like that. So I want good children, you have things. And all desires, it supports. Instead of Veda Purva, it should say that you should not have a desire. It says, please have desires. And if you have a desire, I am here to support. Who says? The Veda says. Now if Veda is saying yes, who am I to say no to it? So what is this confusion? Confusion arises because we put our meaning to it. Number one. Confusion is there because we never try to resolve that, try to understand that. And third, confusion still sustains because we try to resolve that in the light of something else. Not in the light of original scripture which is talking about it. We ask somebody who himself is not a scholar. We ask a person who never opened a text. Bhagavad Gita he never saw. You are asking him. Bhagavan says Kama is destructive. How do you feel? Then that fellow will say, who is that Bhagavan? Krishna. Then he might be stupid. Why? Desire is important. Who said? Freud said. Because this fellow knows only Freud. Or he brings Jung, Carl Gustav Jung he brings, some other fellow he brings. And he comes from that angle. So we have this confusion because of these problems. And as long as this confusion is inside, we will read Gita, we will listen to all Mahatmas as though. Understand? Because this confusion will not let the understanding grow. Even that Mahatma's lecture is very good, still it won't go inside. Because moment this crossroad comes, if that Mahatma says Kamam is highly impractical, Kamam is highly dangerous, then your mind will say, if that is dangerous, because of that this much happened, even coming to satsang is because of that. And who is this fellow says it is dangerous? So that won't allow. So we have to see if Veda Purva is accepting the desire, and I also feel that I cannot renounce the desire. If the Guru is insisting so much to renounce the desire, I will renounce not the desire but the Guru. I can renounce him, not the Guru, not the desire itself. So how to see? Now Shastras say, Nayana, you have to do some Mimamsa for it. Mimamsa means you have to sit and resolve properly. So if someone tells that pressure is a problem, pressure, blood pressure, BP is not happy, somebody said like that, okay, then what does it mean? What does it mean? That means I should not have any BP, right? If you don't have any BP, Ram Naam Satya hai. That means 4 fellows immediately should come in and prepare according to your cultural background and tradition the funeral thing, because only then you will not have BP. No, Swamiji, what I mean, no BP means 120/80. That's it, correct. So though I say no BP, I have no BP, that's a pakka lie, I tell you. And people tell to me, Swamiji, okka abaddam kuda aadaledu nenu eppudu, enduku naaki kashtalani. Igo ide abaddam. I never lied in my life. All the problems come to me. This is a lie. You say I have no BP. You have a BP. Understand? But it is considered as though not, because it is in one given measure, given thing. So like that you should not have desires means what? Because without BP man cannot live. Without desire you cannot exist. Can you? So 2 things here, same things you can see. Without BP, without desire you are not there. More BP, more desire is also a problem. Got it? And BP will not just wait with BP. It is not contented BP that only I will increase. No, its increases all problems. Right? So increase of desires will have a pronounced effect on everything you do. Your family relation will have a problem, society will have a problem, yourself you will have a problem. Anywhere, go to temple, there also you will have a problem. Understand? No, I will go to spirituality. Still there will be a problem. Your spiritual life will be highly encouraging for other fellows not to come here. Seeing you, they stop. Understand, sir? So when I say BP is a problem, without any further thinking, further inquiry, you have concluded that over BP is a problem. Beyond 120 and 80 is a problem. Like that when Bhagavan says, or any Shastra says desire is a problem, that means having no desire is the solution. Like that you should not think. Desire when crosses a limit is a problem. Normal BP and normal desire, no problem. So what is normal? How to determine that? That's a problem. Because for BP there is a measurement. 120/80, I can see. But to desires, she may say this is normal. I may say something is normal. Another person may claim something else is normal. With regard to body, understand, with regard to body, we have a pakka measurement. Wherever you go, that is how it is, because it follows a law. Body has a law. Because of that law, anyone can study the body. There is an order in the body. Everything is order. Ophthalmology is an order. Anatomy is an order. Physiology is an order. Orthopedics is an order. It's not that it's all together we can do anything. No. And if you very, very closely see the body, more you look into, more order you will see. Is it right or not?